Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So a bit of a different one today.
Yeah.
No product to hit.
No
product to test. But we are going to be doing a review of 3 products.
And 3 products in the space that I think are probably the most interesting space in golf training in the last, what would you say, 2-3 years?
Yeah.
Speed.
So it's very hot.
Getting speed.
People are very fascinated by the stories of professional golfers, people that they know at their own club, all of a sudden sort of gaining this mysterious, 20 yards.
Yeah.
From seemingly not doing an awful lot. Speed training, there's not been really much science behind speed training in golf until recently.
Right. It was just like weighted. I remember weighted clubs was a big thing.
Weighted clubs was the thing.
I had one of those orange Momentous drivers.
That's
I'm
right.
pretty sure it ruined
That's
my swing for a year, but yeah.
You and many others.
Yeah, I don't think that did anything.
Others. No.
That's for sure.
The Momentous driver. Yeah, no, I mean, I think the science of today would actually say that thing was slowing you down.
I'm sure it did.
Rather than speeding you up.
Yeah.
So we've picked out the 3 that we really believe are leading the way. 3 that we're going to focus on and have had some experience in using ourselves.
That's right.
Which is I think important. So why don't we start with SuperSpeed Golf?
Yeah.
I think those were the guys who really, for me, kicked this whole thing off, putting it into the mainstream.
I think that's fair to say. And people have seen guys like Phil Mickelson having these in the bag. Tons of tour players, you'll see that piece of it with the weight sticking out of the bag. And it definitely took off in the last few seasons.
Yeah, it really did. I think that's a great point. Mickelson was one who really put a big emphasis on speed training for someone that was obviously declining in distance. The modern players were hitting it significantly far past them.
Right.
And I would argue it's fair to say he may not have won that PGA at Kiawah had he not gained what he gained off the tee.
Oh, I totally agree.
Was as competitive as that. So his major tally was boosted. That would be one of the key ingredients to that.
Absolutely.
So for the most part, 3 weighted sticks.
Yes.
We've got kind of light, medium, heavy. That's the kind of standard program, Matty. All the protocols, I believe there's up to 6 months worth of different workouts you can do with it now.
Yep.
All on YouTube, all readily available. It's not a subscription. It's not something you need to kind of pay for outside of the initial purchase of the system. $199 US
for the 3. And so you spent some time with this. Generally, is it a few months before someone would see a difference? Are you training every day? Is it 4 times a week?
3 times. Well, generally about 3 to 4 times a week, every other day.
Every other day.
That's kind of what's recommended.
Some recovery time, obviously.
Yeah, that's important just to reset your central nervous system, making sure that those levels reset, then ready to sort of build them back up again.
Right.
So I think these guys definitely earned the title of the OG in this.
They kind of started the space, I think.
Yeah, in the space.
Absolutely.
There is a lighter one, so there's a 4th one I did grab. This is a super light one. Again, I think some people swinging the heavy one might find it a little bit heavy. So we do carry this one, and we carry SuperSpeed Golf in all of our bays at TXG as a warm-up option. So if somebody wants to come in and literally just grab one,
get some
put it across their shoulders, maybe just loosen their muscles, do some speed drills, whatever it may be. There's some kind of step training drills and different things like that.
Right.
We have that for all of our clients to warm up with.
And you use it with the little speed monitor. We don't have one here to show, but so that kind of tracks your progress. And I'm not. I think the idea with it is you're supposed to push kind of as hard as you can. It's really push the boundaries of what you're capable of.
100%.
And that's the training program.
Yeah, overspeed training, breaking through those neuromuscular barriers is really the key to speed training. Some people, and I was one for myself, always felt like I could swing the club faster. I just didn't.
Right.
For some reason, when that little white object that seems to be the kind of big part of this game that we play is in the way, I could never swing as fast as what I could when it wasn't there.
Right.
And then it was always like, why is that? Something is creating a barrier for that, and it's the SuperSpeed guys have done a great job explaining to us how those neuromuscular barriers get broken down.
Okay.
And it is the process and application of overspeed training that allows you to break through that. So it is a process. I think it can often be faster than people realise.
Right.
The acquisition of speed, but it does take some consistency and dedication to stick with the program. It doesn't last forever. Once you have it, you don't own it forever.
Interesting.
There's maintenance required with any of these speed systems. That's what I've personally found. I don't think that it stays with you forever.
Interesting.
You have to kind of keep pushing.
So maybe like an off-season thing, once a season or once every 2 seasons, you would do a program again to make sure you maintain it.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it. Like any training program, I think you're going to have phases where you're in kind of playing mode or you're in training mode and that sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah. The PRGR Black is the little speed monitor that you referenced there. Which
you said is one of the best ones for the price especially.
Great value. It's actually a little bit more expensive when you buy it on its own than even the sticks itself.
Oh, okay.
It's a little personal launch monitor as well. It gives some ball speed readings
helpful,
and
right?
stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. The club speed, ball speed is really the main two kind of readouts that it gives you, but it's pretty good, pretty useful.
Nice.
So the second one we're going to touch upon is called the Rypstick. I'm not sure if people have heard of this one. I don't know. I've not seen it as commonly in the marketplace as things like SuperSpeed Golf. But another phenomenal system and great value. A little bit cheaper than SuperSpeed.
Okay.
Not by much, but it is cheaper. One stick rather than 3 or 4 if you have the super light.
Right.
And basically the idea being that you can sort of rotate this magnetic system up at the top here.
And you can add or remove these weights.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep. So 3 different weights in there. So you've kind of got the full weighted model. You can take one out at a time. And then there's the counterweight at the end, which also can give you multiple, I think 8 different configurations in all that you've got with this one.
Interesting.
Which is pretty cool.
So it's cool that it's kind of in one piece. I mean, obviously the SuperSpeed is nice and simple, nothing to fiddle with. You just pick the color and you know that's the one you're training with that day. But I can see the appeal of this, especially if you take it in a travel bag. It doesn't take up as much room.
Definitely.
And it doesn't look like anything would really go wrong here. This is all nice kind of milled metal or aluminum or something. And
comes with a nice little head cover that goes over that, so it keeps it from scratching anything in the bag. That's one of my kind of little pet peeves with these things.
Oh, it kind of knocks together.
Yeah, whether these are up or down, typically if they're down, they can scratch shafts on the way down. If they're up, they can often sneak under a head cover and scratch the crown as they're kind of moving.
Gotcha. But it's something to think about because they do pretty much sit in the bag for most people all year if they're doing the protocols.
One of the things I really liked about Rypstick is also the shaft is fairly bendy on Rypstick.
Oh, okay, so it has more flexibility than some of these other systems.
It does, and I kind of like when I'm swinging it the fact I can feel the load. I can start to get from a timing element.
Okay.
Kind of a little bit Orange Whip-esque.
Interesting. Okay.
That type of thing. When you've got, especially when you've got the full weighted configuration up there.
Yes.
You definitely feel the shaft working.
Gotcha. No, that's a good little feature.
Yeah.
You definitely see a lot of Orange Whips in the bag, so if you can kind of combine those two things,
absolutely.
It's smart.
Yeah, this is. I would say this is your little Swiss Army knife when it comes to the speed training.
Smart.
Great value, and I really love what the guy's done there. On their website as well.
Yeah, they have a million of the same kind of protocols and videos,
which I think is really good, really smart, and I think it's great value that all that stuff lives on there. You can work through those different phases, 4 different phases, and then they've got a section actually for swing fixes,
which is nice. They have a couple instructors on staff, so things like fixing your slice pattern, fixing a hook pattern, fixing a swing plane issue, because you want to develop the speed, but I can also see the value in it in helping you correct some swing faults at the same time.
Absolutely.
Why not? Why wouldn't you?
Definitely, and gain some speed and gain some more efficient mechanics along the way.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Absolutely.
So last but not least, we have the Rolls Royce of speed systems, the Stack.
This is the one that's really caught your eye recently, hasn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I saw kind of the early early rumours about this one, and there was some testing being done from some people I know in the golf industry, and just by even their names appearing on it got my attention. Marty Jertson, one of the engineers over at Ping,
right?
A hell of a player in his own right, played in 6 major championships, multiple PGA Tour events, great player, smart guy, has multiple programs that have been super successful for Ping are down to him, co-founder of the iPutting app.
That's right, I remember that.
That one, lead engineer and many of the the successful lines that Ping have had. So when I saw Marty was involved, and also Sasho McKenzie,
who
we spoke about on the channel before. Sasho is golf's leading biomechanist. And especially when it comes to speed acquisition, someone who's done more research, I think, in this space than I've seen anyone else do. Sasho has really led the way. So they've kind of came together and made this this system that I think is, it is the Rolls Royce, as I say, but it's probably the most developed of all the systems. Comes with an app.
And that's the part that you would say is the differentiator. So I'm just to display, there's obviously different size weights here.
5 different weights.
And that's how you adjust it. So it's kind of like the Rypstick in that sense. But you're saying kind of the bigger value proposition for it is really the way that the app works and tracks your progress.
Exactly. You can go through multiple different training systems. You can, depending on what type of training system you want to go, whether it's foundation, just building your speed, whether there's one called, I think, the heavy hitter, for people who want to kind of really gain some significant speed. So, again, I think the big differentiator with the Stack system is the software, the development of that software.
And the two, great minds behind it that are sort of developed that software.
Absolutely, that's really what I'm kind of, put my money on, is those two guys. And I think kind of liken it, when you've got software and hardware, I think the potential of this unit becomes so much higher. It's a bit like driving a Tesla. The suspension update comes as a software update.
It's a different conversation, isn't it?
It's a whole different thing. So, as new ways of speed training come out, it'll all go through the app, and then you'll apply it to the hardware.
Very cool.
So I think that's something where there's some longevity. Now, it costs a heck of a lot more than the other ones.
Is it like close to twice the price?
It's about twice the price. It's about that exactly.
Gotcha. So it's the most premium option here.
Yep. So
something to consider, obviously. But if you're super serious about it, that might be the one to go with. You had also mentioned to me it is quite a bit shorter than the other systems by, let's say, a good 4 or 5 inches. So a little bit easier if you want to do it indoors, or if you have a garage and you don't have the amount of ceiling clearance. That could be a little bit more portable and a little bit easier to use in a small space.
I like it for that. Yeah, I do like it for that. I think that's a really thoughtful thing. It's kind of like hybrid length.
Yeah.
So it's kind of easier to swing.
And nothing in the research that says it has to be driver length.
No.
Like it just is the way most of them are, obviously, but.
Probably, maybe you can see from a couple of the SuperSpeed ones. I've actually caught the ground a few times while swinging the SuperSpeed one. Just the length of it, being that few inches extra.
Gotcha.
So I like that about the Stack system. Like you say, there's nothing to say that it has to be, a certain length. Now, I think there's probably at a point where you wouldn't want like a 35-inch one.
Of course, you don't want a wedge length one, but they've probably established that this is probably about 40 inches or so is good.
Yeah. So
very smart.
3 great systems, 3 phenomenal systems.
You can't go wrong by the sound of it. I think you just probably want to pick the one that's right for you. Someone might look at the software of the Stack system in the app and just go like, this is too much for me.
Definitely.
I want something very simple. I want to swing 3 color-coded sticks. I want to track my progress on a little speed monitor. I'm happy with that.
Definitely.
And the Rypstick is, I think, a close comparison, and this one is just a little bit more on the advanced side, which I think will appeal to a ton of people, but not for everybody.
Exactly. I think that's a really good way to sort of look at it. I mean, it doesn't really matter which one you go with. I think you're going to get gains with all of them.
Right.
I think they all offer you, something, to add to your game. One thing I will say, something we spoke about a little bit, the grip selection. So I really like what Stack System have done. They've actually put in a multi-compound
is that what that is?
On there.
Yeah, it's got some texture to it, doesn't it?
Kind of like that. So it's quite tacky, quite high quality. I didn't love the original grip on the SuperSpeed.
It's pretty basic, right? It's just kind of a tour velvet.
Kind of like a tour velvet, and doesn't kind of feel as tacky to me. So I put a different, much more tacky grip on it.
Gotcha.
We've spoke about it in the past. Grip texture is actually a factor in speed and gain and traction with your hand speed. So I think that's an important thing. And the little grip that comes in Rypstick is nice to me as well. It's a little wrap.
Yeah, it's got a bit
fairly
more
tacky.
Yeah, and I think I'm not Yeah, you could change the grip on any of these to the grip that you prefer, I believe, right?
I believe so. Yeah, I need to have a look at
Maybe not this one because of the counterweight.
Yeah.
That's a good question on that one.
That's a good question. Whether you could or not.
I think it's internally threaded maybe on the shaft.
I think you could change that grip. Yeah, you would just need to...
Yeah, because the thread would be built into the shaft underneath. So that might be something you consider, especially if someone has larger hands, they want to put a mid-size grip on.
Yeah,
you wouldn't want to swing this because this is a standard, no wraps, a little bit on the thin side. And then if you go back to your driver, it might feel a bit funny. So just something to consider there.
Definitely, definitely. But speed training, I think that's something that most golfers should be looking at.
Yes, unless you've got an excess of speed or it's not the weakness of your game. I think, most people you play with, if you could hit a club or two less into the greens, if you could be a little further off the tee while keeping it in play. Definitely. Hard to say you wouldn't shoot a lower score, right?
One thing that always makes me laugh, or I get a little giggle at when I hear about the pricing of these, you know, I think Rypstick's great value, SuperSpeed's great value, $199 US. Stack System's a little bit more expensive at, you know, just under, I think, 400 US, somewhere in that region, maybe 350-ish. And people go, oh, it's expensive, eh? Right. It's a lot of money. Right. Well, the gains long term that you're able to get by buying this as a one-off purchase. Yeah. It's not technology that's gone out of fashion. No. Versus what people spend, and this is somebody who has owns a custom golf shop.
I know it's true.
The value in going with one of these systems versus just buying a new driver every single year to try and get a little bit extra, and you might squeeze out 5 yards, 10 yards, and how long does that last, and is that something that's, you know, just on the day? This is something that will keep you, you know, gaining speed and suppleness, and you know, keeping that movement for the rest
because it's
of
a bit of a fitness tool as well, right? So the value is there. No, I agree with you. For $200, I mean, you could spend $200 on a wedge. Definitely. It would get worn out in a season and a half.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I don't think price should be the barrier to getting into the SuperSpeed or the speed acquisition game.
I totally agree. Definitely. Nice.
Okay, guys, let us know if you've tried these. I'd love to hear. You know, there'll be many stories on this. We always ask for your feedback and what you guys have found, and there'll be many people who have tried. Certainly SuperSpeed, Rypstick, I'm sure there'll be a few. There'll be some new people who've tried Stack System. A
little bit younger in the market.
A little bit younger, yep, in its infancy for sure. But let us know if it's transformed your game. Is it something that's really turned your game around, changed your game? Is it being detrimental to your game, gaining some speed, or the type of training, swinging that fast? Has it ever done anything for your game that you didn't like? I'd be curious to hear the same thing. Yeah. Positives and negatives we always want to hear those accounts.
Definitely. Yeah, it helps us to kind of do these videos.
It does. It definitely does. Okay, guys. We will continue to do product reviews like this where we see fit for things that we really think will help your game. It's a good little change up for us, not just testing product all the time, talking ball flight. I think these are things that are as important as that because they'll ultimately have some significant benefits to your game.
Tremendous value for someone's game in this stuff.
Excellent. Okay, stay tuned for more, guys. We'll see you again soon.